1a. Grammar, past perfect simple and past perfect progressive. The train left. Left is the past of leave. He arrived at the station. Two actions happened in the past, and later, the next day, the same man is telling us what happened yesterday or in the past, last week. The train had already left when I arrived at the station. Now look, how many sentences do we have here? Only one sentence. He combined two actions, 1 and 2, put them together in one sentence. In orange, we have past perfect simple, past perfect simple, PPS. In green, we have past simple. Which action happened first in the past? The train left first or he arrived first? No, he was late. He didn't catch the train. The train left first and then he arrived. This is why we give past perfect simple to the action that happened first in the past. We use had and we use the past participle tense of the verb. I want you to go to page 81 in your student's book. Look here at the bottom. You will find the verb leave. This is the infinitive form. And then left, the past form. We don't use the past form. We use this past participle. If you use go, you say gone. Go, went, gone. This is what we use, past participle. And we use had. You can say the train had left, or you can use time expression like already. It is correct to use already or not use it. The train had left when I arrived at the station, or the train had already left when I arrived at the station. Is it correct to begin the sentence with the second action? It is correct. You can say, when I arrived at the station, the train had already left. Now, we started with action number 2, but it is still in past simple. Why? Because in the past, it happened after this. So whether you want to put it second, whether you want to put it first, the meaning is the same. The action that happened after always take past simple. Okay? Past simple, the same thing. If you don't want to use two actions, you can use one action and you can use the time. You can say, by 10:30, it's 10:30, the train had already left, or the train had already left by 10:30. Both are correct and they give the same meaning. You can use already, or you can use any of these time expressions. Ever, never, just. Just means not long time ago. When, by the time gives a meaning similar to when. You can say, by the time I arrived at the station, the train had already left. It's the same thing. Before, when, after, by, just like here, by. By means before this time. The train left before this time. Okay? And now we finished past perfect simple. Let's move on to past perfect progressive. Look, a man is waiting for his plane to leave. He has been waiting for 2 hours. And later, the next day, the next week, the same thing, later, he is telling us what happened. I had been waiting for 2 hours when they called for my flight. Now, how many actions do we have? 1, wait. 2, call. Which one happened first? He waited first and then they called for the flight. Can we use past perfect simple here? No, you can't. Why? Because actually the duration here is very important. The time. 2 hours is important. If you have a duration 2 hours, 3 days, 10 minutes, then you use past perfect progressive. And it is simple. You simply use had been, always had been, and then a verb plus ing. I had been eating. I had been going. You don't use this. Don't look here. Add ing to the verb. You can also say, I was tired because I had been waiting for 2 hours. This time we have one action and one adjective. Tired is an adjective, and tired is the result of waiting. If you wait for a long time, you get tired, right? You can have 2 verbs, 2 actions, or 1 verb and 1 adjective. And here are the time expressions you can use with past perfect progressive. You can use already, by the time, for, since, after, before, when, how long had you been waiting when they called for your flight. Again, how long had you been waiting when you ask a question? How long had you been waiting when they called for your flight? Had you been waiting for 2 hours, 3 hours? And we're done. And always remember, we use past perfect simple and past perfect progressive when we describe and talk about things that happened in the past. Now, if they are not in the past, we don't use past perfect, we use present perfect simple and present perfect progressive. But because they happened in the past and now they are telling us what happened in the past, then you use this. And now we are ready for practice. Complete the text with the past simple, the past perfect simple, or the past perfect progressive of the verbs in brackets. I suggest that you go ahead and you complete the text and then you come back and you check your answers, see if you made any mistakes. I think of traveling around the world for quite some time. For quite some time means it's been a while since I have started thinking about this. It's not something new. And finally, find the money to do so. Now look, from here till here we have one sentence and we have 2 actions, think and find. Which one happened first? Did this man started thinking of traveling first, or he found the money first? First he started thinking, right? And then he found the money. And look, we have a duration for quite some time, for a while. The duration is important. Use past perfect progressive with the action that happened first. I had been thinking and finally found the money to travel. While I was traveling around the Far East last year, I meet quite an unusual man. Quiet means very, but not extremely, unusual, strange man. Look, from here to here, one sentence. 2 actions, travel and meet. We gave past progressive to the action that happened first. Do you know why? Because it continued happening in the past. I was traveling and traveling and traveling, and while I was doing that, something interrupted. Something happened. I met. We give this past simple. I was sitting in a cafe enjoying a cup of tea when I notice him looking at me. Again, two actions. I was sitting. Sit is a verb, action. I was sitting and sitting, past progressive, and then something interrupted my sitting. Past simple. I noticed him looking at me. He looked at me for about 10 minutes when he stand up. Again, two actions. He looked first and then he stood. And we have 10 minutes duration. Give this past perfect progressive. Give this past simple. And we have a third action, approach me. Approach means he got closer to me. And we have and. This happened last. Give it past simple. He sit down opposite me and begin talking. Two actions. He sat down first and then he began talking. Should we give this past perfect simple? No. Why not? Because we don't have a time expression like when or by the time. We have and. If you have and, give past simple to both actions. He sat down and he began talking. Okay, this is past simple, not past participle. He know my name, surname, last name, occupation, my job, in fact, everything. One sentence, one action, give it past simple. We don't have two actions here, only one. Where he get all this information from? This is a question. This is going to be different. Where did he get all this information from? We have only one verb, get. Where did he get the information? If you want to use had got, also correct. But if you use past simple, that is also correct. It was like he read a book about my life. One action, past simple. No. Why not? Well, actually, when did he read? He read this book before he met me. This is why we must give it past perfect simple, even though we only have one verb, but this verb happened before the meeting. Okay? When he finished, I asked him how he. Okay, two actions. He finished first and then I asked him. So use past perfect simple. When he had finished, I asked him how he find this information about me. Okay, when did he find the information? After he asked or before? Well, he found the information before he finished and before he asked. Give it past perfect simple. It happened first. He say, don't you remember me? One verb, give it past simple. He said. We were at the university together. Past simple. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please share it with friends. I will see you again next time, inshallah. Goodbye.